we will watch how this line starts. And the Aussies will start with Solomon and Billings in the goal circle. Wing attack, McDonald and Nexip. Bedingfield at wing defence, Pash at goal defence, and Hamer at goalkeeper.
Look, the key matchup for the Kiwis really is trying to shut down Solomon. He's just so unstoppable underneath that goal circle, and they really haven't managed to find a solution for him so far in the tournament.
That is very, very true. And to score 43 goals in 3 quarters is, well, it's sort of Romelda Aiken-esque, isn't it?
I don't know. I pick him probably as more of a Fowler Reid than a Romelda Aiken.
Actually. Yeah, incredibly hard to get around, but the two teams are about to get called on court, and then we will have the national anthems.
Out onto the court, please welcome Matthew Blomley to call out the Australian mixed squad.
Starting the goal shooter, Michael Solomon. Goal attack, Natalie Billings. Wing attack, El McDonald. Central co-captain, Dylan Nexip. Wing defence, Jordan Bedingfield. Goal defence and co-captain, Georgette Patch. Goalkeeper, Ben Hamer. Substitutions, Corey Nexip, Sarah Sikulski, David Butler and Laura Janor. Coaches, Christy Ray. Assistant coach, David O'Hare. Manager is Karen Williams and physiotherapist, Bridie Flagg.
And please welcome wide to introduce the New Zealand Mixed Open team.
So two teams going to meet in the middle to shake hands, wish each other the best of luck. Probably not, but they're going to fake it anyway. So the umpires for tonight, Renee Marshall from Australia, Raywin Vile from New Zealand. The reserves, Jordan Kiss from Australia and Tina Frew for New Zealand. Second and last game for Day 3 of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Cup. Thanks for watching the live stream. Let us know where you're watching from right around the world. We've had people from Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago and South Africa. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Hope you're enjoying it.
Everyone's favourite awkward moment where the players are ready to go and the
The
umpires
umpires
just...
We're going to make you wait.
So next hit from Australia to get us underway.
Yeah, Dylan Nexip had a solid game for Australia on day 1.
Just overhooked that just a little bit.
Billings just too much on the first pass and an over and third on the throw-in. You don't see that very often these days. McDonald. In terms of a mixed setup, the Kiwis have gone with Lord at wing attack, whereas Australia have got Nexip in terms of having a male player on the court at centre. Do you think that one side has an advantage in that space over the other?
I do and I don't. The style that the guys and the girls tend to play with is a little bit different. So I actually don't mind matching up against a guy in the mid-court for that reason, because you tend to outthink them a little bit. Unfortunately, particularly in centre, it's really hard to pin them as they sprint down the court. So how much of an advantage it is, I think, will ebb and flow depending on who's in attack. But lovely shot from Juliana Nuopu.
She had a great start to the Trans-Tasman Cup on Tuesday night. 25 from 29 at 86%, was the top scorer for the Kiwis.
Well, and I think at this end is where the different matchups are going to show up down the Kiwi end. With you've got a female centre, female wing defence. So you're never going to be able to play a switch and get that mix up right.
So Aussies with an early 2-1 lead. No centre pass broken
Short
just
pass.
yet.
Oh, footwork.
Oh, footwork.
Probably a bit of both.
Good recovery from Nexip. Bedingfield.
Yeah.
McDonald on the drive had a strong game, but an offside from Nexip gives the Kiwis back possession.
Clever play there from Zingmet. Just using her body just to cut in front. I think that's often where the guys in mixed and even men's get caught out. Is that little bit of extra body work to, you know, put the body in the right place and not contact. There's definitely a skill there, and you only pick it up after years and years of playing netball. Nice tip there.
Overton out of the circle. Flick pass to Lord,
Lovely
who whips it
pass.
to Juliana Nuupu. Pash not happy with that call. Contact on the ball, and Nuupu levels it up. Aussies stuck on the centre pass and a held ball.
Fantastic ball from the Kiwis, and that's actually quite hard to do when you're a team that don't get to spend that much time together, but that's not where the penalty was set. But then you get plays like that where they're running into each other's space, nobody's coming forward, everyone's kind of waiting for somebody else to run.
Next hit, good pop pass.
It's better ball placement than the last pass into him.
And Billings, pretty good accuracy all round from the Aussies in the first test. Nuupu, good ball to Overton. And he scores his first. That's a sign of a good attacking player who looks to the circle first after receiving the centre pass.
And the Aussie hammer, he would be killing himself there because I actually don't know how that missed his fingertips. Lovely tip there from Overton. Brown, rather. He's working hard, Brown. I mean, it's hard to play against a player like Solomon, who he's going to get a lot of ball. You know, a lot of it's going to go over your head. But at least with a bit of footwork, if he gets a tip a quarter and manages to get a turnover that way, you know, he can be doing his job.
And that's what we talked about the other night, the cumulative pressure that happens, and that you've got to maintain for 60 minutes in order to get those tips and turnovers probably later on in the match, but you've got to do the work right from the very start. Nice front cut from Overton. Good jump from Hamer. Just a little short. The Aussies went to quarter time 18-9 in the first test. But it's a little closer today. 4 all, 5 gone in the first quarter. McDonald and Nexhip having a little too much space on that first and second phase.
Lovely about that. And that was Billings. I mean, the last time she could have dished it off, she put the shot up. Like, she's mixing it up between dishing and shooting and keeping them guessing. Sometimes when you do get stuck playing in goals with such a tall, particularly male target, it's so easy just to dish off the whole time. But you've got to keep your defenders guessing. Lovely tip there.
Josefa Harris looks long and across court. And the Kiwis looking far more polished in attack in the second test. McDonald had no one coming to her. Billings turned at the last minute. Or last second. She didn't have a whole minute, that's for sure. Contact on Odell.
Made the comment before about the Kiwis running a female wing defence and centre down here, but there actually doesn't seem to be much space. I've noticed that, where is she? McDonald, particularly at wing attack, is just finding it really hard to find that space just to cut through. And I'm sure she'll work it out as the game goes on, but it's a real kind of hats off to the Kiwi defence who are doing an incredible job here.
So a turnover on the Kiwi centre pass, a breaking call on Naopu. McDonald fakes it. Solomon, fingertip control. And he's 6 from 6 in this first quarter. Donald, she had a couple of options on there. Chose probably the safest one to work it around. Solomon dribbles that one home. 8-5 to the Aussies.
Oh, unlucky Bedingfield offside.
I'd question the advantage on that. But
Yeah, so would I.
I won't. Obstruction on Bedingfield. Let's see how the Kiwis set this one up. Yeah, probably Overton, I think, probably set up a little too early then. It gave Hamer a chance to move his feet around. Naopu off target, strong rebound. Makes good with the second attempt. Brings the margin back to 2. Just over 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Nexhip, Billings.
Lovely drive to the top, to the edge of the circle from Nexhip.
Both teams shooting fairly accurately. The Aussies haven't missed. Kiwis 6 from 7.
I don't know about that. I thought there was a little bit of everything in that.
Little bit of let it go.
Hey, maybe give her a little shove in the back of the centre pass as well.
So a caution early on to Jordan Bedingfield for intimidation. I must have missed that.
Yeah,
I
and
was
I think
unsighted
too
on.
with the new intimidation rules, it's automatically a warning. I got busted doing that one game. I was a bit shocked. Which I'm not a fan of. I kind of like the idea that you can test your umpires out. You know, you have a go at seeing how far you can kind of intimidate.
You and Liz Ellis would get on like a house on fire then. Let's be honest.
Look, it's all about just testing the boundaries within what the umpires kind of let you away with.
Yes, Liz Ellis says intimidation is a defender's job.
Exactly.
Should be allowed to get away with it. Kiwis.
Oh.
That's not the first time that has happened in this first quarter. And that is not the first goal for Juliana Naupu. She's 4 from 5. That's a strong shot to bring the margin back to 1. There was a touch on the ball too from Pash on the attempt. Solomon threw his hands and picked up by Jamie Brown. Oh, Naupu, she's going to go from downtown.
Even she gives herself a clap for that one. She didn't want it. She wasn't sure about it, but still able to put it up. Oh, well done. Oh, unlucky. Mark Overton, he's just not quite, I don't know if he's moving off too early or not quite able to hold up to the pressure, but.
Time's been called as we retrieve the ball. We should have a couple of ball boys around here somewhere.
Well, I know Netball SA have got a junior boys league that they're trying to get up and running at the moment in partnership with Samna, so it'd be a great opportunity for some of those boys.
So Naupu coming from out of court on the first take. So a throw into Australia. Hamer and the Kiwis putting on a wall through the middle.
And
I actually think it was really smart from Next Hip offering really high in that transverse line then on that first phase to really sort of shake the defence, and the Aussies didn't find too much trouble on that occasion.
it just takes one pass to break through that, and it doesn't even need to be a long pass. It's just one that kind of unsettles everyone. I thought Yosefo Harris, at last attempt that she had, she kind of followed, and the box press only really works if everyone commits to it. Lovely work along the baseline there from Billings.
Oh, a touch from Brown.
We should just had a chance and put it up. Brown's doing quite well. Like, he's not getting a lot of turnovers, but he's definitely, the Aussie midcourt are really having to think about where to place that ball.
Well, it took the Kiwis a good 30 minutes to work out how they wanted their defence end to look. They tried a couple of combinations and it finished with Brown. Shuffle under the post from Naupu, and Overton is 5 from 5. 12-10 to the Aussies. Just under 3.5 to go in the first term. The Aussies one up
Great drive from Nexit there.
after winning 58-45 on Tuesday night. Easy, soft pass to Solomon. He's 11 from 12 in the first quarter. Lord, long ball. A lot of long balls happening in the Kiwi attack end, and pretty uncontested from the Aussies. I think they might have a think about that at the quarter break.
Well, the wing attack, Greg Lord, he's running into that pocket consistently. And unfortunately, Naupu's dropping back. So they're going to need a little bit more from him, a little bit more of a cut and drive to the top. Oh, thought about it.
Yeah, put the scare on, did Brown.
Yep. There's nothing scary when you're playing mixed netball and you're driving into that pocket and you hear that thunder of a male body coming forward. It is awful.
Strong shot from Solomon.
That'd almost be long range for him.
It would be, to be completely honest. Margin now at 5. Biggest lead of the game so far. Yosefa Harris. Touch on it from Beddingfield, but Yosefa Harris, the shortest player, gets on it. Mopped it up. Next hip with a blatant offside.
pull it in.
So Australia, good
Lovely.
look outside from Billings. Had a look to McDonald, saw that Brown had moved. Solomon open under the post.
It's a nice strong drive from McDonald in that one as well. Really caused the goalkeeper to pay a bit of attention to her and come out. Oh. It's a better cut and drive for Narupa. I feel like she's been, holding back, calling for the ball over the top.
So less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Kiwis aren't going to be trailing by 9 like they did in the first test. It's going to be much closer as Billings pops in her third for the first quarter. Josefa Harris, Odell, and back again. Lord goes long. Contact call on Ben Hamer.
Hopefully Narupa puts this one up.
She does.
Lovely shot.
Aussies, I was going to say they're going to look straight in, but it was a little too late for them. So Australia lead at quarter time in the mixed open division. Day 3 of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Cup. They lead by 4, 17-13 at quarter time. So far closer, yeah. I'm going to start that again. Far more close encounter between these two sides compared to game 1. Just for the margin, the Kiwis look far more fluid in attack, and we have some shooting stats to go through from the first term.
Yeah, we do. Look, each team has only missed a goal apiece, which is pretty impressive considering the physicality that's going on out there. My pick has probably been Narupa. She's shot from 6 of 7. She's had the miss for the Kiwis, but really most of those have been from almost the edge of the circle, and she's quite confident to put them up. Then under the post, she's got Overton, who's shooting at 100%. And when you've got that extra option there, it's really causing some headaches for the Aussies. I think Solomon's doing well. He's only missed one, and by God, I bet he got the rebound for that as well. So it's pretty hard to pick between the two teams. I really think the Kiwis are looking for a little bit more punch and drive in their attack line. I see they've made a change there, which I think will make a bit of a difference and stop some of those long passes into the pockets.
Yeah, I think the long ball has been on some occasions, but that second phase is to how to set up the circle after, the ball's gone into Nupa on the baseline. They haven't really quite worked that out just yet, but they've made some changes early. Probably...
Oh.
I don't know. We're going to it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I don't think that the Kiwis looked too disorganised in that first quarter. So Blanchard's come on at wing attack, and Bonsumato has come on at wing defence. Lord has moved to centre, and then we get the matchup in the middle with Lord and Nexhip.
Now, I'm sure we've got some Netball Scoop listeners, readers listening. I'm sure there's plenty of comments about some hairstyles, particularly Bonsu Murray. I know the hairstyles of the players tend to get a lot of conversation online.
Yeah, there are some people obsessed with hairstyles.
It is a bit unbelievable.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
And a change for the Aussies as well, with Pash going to the bench and Sarah Sokolski coming on in that position, who had a fine game, who actually started the game on Tuesday night. So a couple of turnovers early, a minute gone in the second quarter.
I'm already liking the look of, who's the new wing attack? No, Blanchard. So Blanchard's coming on to wing attack. She's playing a bit more of a traditional wing attack role, which you would have gotten from a female wing attack. She's cutting and driving. She's finding the space. And then she's setting up for the centre to drive through. It seems to be a little bit more of a settled lineup for the Kiwis in attack. Oh.
And also Sheridan Wills has come on at goalkeeper for Jamie Brown. So I'm not sure about all these changes for the Kiwis. I wonder how much it'll actually unsettle them rather than give them the opportunity to come back into the game. So caution, I think, for dissent from Michael Solomon, from umpire Raywin Vile.
Short pass. Yeah, I agree with you about being. Look, I probably would have made some sort of change for the Kiwis in their attack line. Somewhere across wing attack centre, I think needed to happen. I feel like maybe some of the other changes are a little bit unnecessary, and it's going to take the Kiwis just that little bit longer to settle. And when they're already a little bit behind, particularly in defence, I thought Brown was doing an outstanding job in goalkeeper.
So one apiece in this second term and 2.5 minutes gone. So incredibly low scoring start.
That was probably the best second and third phase, though, from the Kiwis that we've seen. So wing attack comes out, goal shooter comes out into the pocket, and it was a nice, strong drive to the top of the circle.
Held ball on the shot from Naupu and does the good work on that setup from the Kiwis. Nexhip swings it. Nexhip stuck for an option, has to go back. Seems to be a little bit of the pace missing in this game that we saw in the first test.
Yep.
But Solomon scores on the Kiwi centre pass, so a chance for Australia to convert the turnover. Billings, looked long, and Wills.
Lovely done. He read that from an absolute mile away and just happened to pop into the space at the right time.
Overton didn't want to shoot from that distance. And pick up from Sokolski. That's better from the Aussies into attack. McDonald has a look, goes high to Solomon. And the lead now 6. Blanchard straight into the circle.
Lovely.
Good choice. And out of court, foot out of court. Better defensive pressure too coming out of the Kiwi attack end also.
I think there's some better matchups. I think the Blanchard versus Bedingfield matchup and wing attack, wing defence is actually a good matchup. Like they seem to pair up really well, especially through the centres with the two guys. That's a frustrating release of pressure there around the edge of the circle.
Oh, Skokolski had a crack.
Plenty of support coming from the Kiwis in the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd's been building over the first 3 days, which is good to see. McDonald.
Oh.
She probably held it up just a little bit too long there. I think the pass into Solomon was on a little earlier.
And she's done that a couple of times. I think even the last pass of the last quarter probably should have released a little bit sooner, would have got the ball in a bit quicker, but it's hard sometimes when you're used to passing to a certain style of player. The way that Solomon's holding, it's almost a bit hard to pick where his space is. Particularly when he's not able to move into it. You literally have to put it exactly where he wants it.
Yeah.
Should put that up from there.
No worries. Obstruction on Bonsu Maro. McDonald, that was a quicker ball in.
Yeah.
Solomon scored all 5 goals for Australia in this second term. 5-3 the quarter break. Stretch from Hamer and good backup. It was an air ball from Overton. Oh, Naupu. And straight into the circle to Overton,
Lovely.
where it was moments before. At that time, it's finished. So the lead hovering at 5s and 6s, McDonald. That was direct.
It's like she heard us. Or even, like, it's exactly the same what happened at the...
So a continuous breaking call on Nat Billings. So she's been penalised by the umpire and cautioned.
Yeah, there's a few cautions down that end of the court.
Blanchard, strong pass into the space. Overton, just a little shaky in this second term, 2 from 4. So sitting at 9 from 11 at 82% for the match.
Look, I think this is some great pressure from Hamer, and he's just not responding to it in the right way.
Zigamont that time. Nopu says, no, you shoot it. Get your confidence up.
Step back.
(23-18), 7 minutes to go in the second term. Australia not having it all their own way like they did for most of the first test. They led by 15 at half-time in that match. McDonald straight over the top to Solomon.
Some great footwork there from Zigamond.
Was to try and get around the body.
Well, even just trying to confuse the space. She wasn't really committing to one side or the other. Lovely pass and drive from Narupu. And finishes it off.
Unflappable.
Yeah, absolutely.
From anywhere in the circle, Juliana Naupu. 9 from 10 at 90%. Oh, Lord, put on the scare. McDonald looking a lot more comfortable on looking straight into the circle to Solomon over the last couple of minutes, and it's paying off. And an offensive contact on Blanchard. To be fair, Bedingfield didn't move into the space, I didn't think. I think she kept her hands pretty straight. McDonald over the top to next hip. Waits for the jump from Wills. Good attempt from Odell, but the Aussie's too strong. McDonald tried to go via the floorboards and took a piece of Will's leg on the way through.
Her play up until that point, though, was great. I mean, I think I was kind of looking at her going, I'm needing a little bit more from you through the first quarter. And I don't know whether it's a bit of confidence or she's just found a groove, but she's looked much better in this quarter than she did in the first.
Aussies take the lead to 8, biggest lead of the game. Just under 5 minutes to go. Good touch from Hamer.
Probably not their best option whenever Overton's been getting a little bit pushed around in that position for most of the night. The long bomb on the hold isn't really going to work. That was a much better option, though. He was holding but on the move. It creates a bit of space behind him, and it was a great pass in from Lord. And a miss. Was there a second of the game?
Yep. First this quarter. Both defenders out of play.
Pops it up, no dramas.
Botumaro just untangles herself from next hip and it's play on. Good take from Solomon.
Yeah. I feel like Wills is actually getting himself into a really good position. He just needs to grow about a foot and be a little bit more in it. But his footwork's been really great. He's actually getting himself all the way around into the right spot.
Just hoping that the ball perhaps drops a little short.
Yeah.
Botumaro and Odell. Oh, a step on Odell. Coach killer. Oh, Sokolski looked to play it on quickly and McDonald wasn't ready for it.
Incredibly athletic there from Botumaro.
Lord to Blanchard, who goes straight over the top. Good touch by Hamer. Get his hand to a couple more balls in this quarter. I hope we're looking for someone, anyone, giving everyone the hairy eyeball, saying, give me something, give me an option. Just offline on that attempt.
Mid-court press from the Kiwis.
Yeah, and they're pretty vocal about it too. Next hip. Looks over the top of the mess. Oh, quick take of the penalty from McDonald. Finds Solomon.
So 2 minutes to go, we've got 9 goals in it. And the Kiwis have looked threatening at times, but haven't managed to actually press on with it. They seem to get that one turnover, and then it just fades away again.
And Solomon strong again. I'm not sure that the change-up with Wills coming on was the right move for the Kiwis because Solomon has all of Australia's 13 goals in this quarter. Overton out of the circle now. Lord juggles it well.
It's quite impressed with Blanchard when she first came on, but I think Bedingfield's done a really good job of just working her out, chipping away. That centre pass she had her completely covered.
And Elle McDonald just spoken to by the umpire in back play also about her breaking on the New Zealand centre pass.
Great give there from Bellings, forced the contact. I think sometimes you can be a bit hesitant to give that, and sometimes it's exactly what needs to happen. Is that Solomon on the move?
It's a good move. It was a long move. He gave himself a lot of space to move into that space, and it was a really good read from Nat Billings as well to let him have it.
I don't think she had a choice when he was coming through there.
I need to get out of the way. Yeah. So under a minute remaining to half time. Oh, McDonald strong in the air. Skokolski, next hit, looks straight in. Good take from Solomon. and finishes the great work of Elle McDonald for the Aussies. And they want another goal. Oh. Good attempt from next hit, but McDonald just off balance. Didn't have enough on it on the pass. So New Zealand going to look long. And that is half time. No call at the end there from Renee Marshall. So Australia take an 11-goal lead into the main break in the mixed open division. You're watching the 2018 Trans-Tasman Cup from Adelaide. So the Aussies with an 11-goal lead at half-time. And it was 15 in the first test, so an improvement for the Kiwis, but they sort of faded away in the back end of that term. Michael Solomon, 15 from 16, scored every goal for the Aussies in that term, sits at 29 from 31. And the Kiwis should probably look at making a change in that defence end to counteract his influence so far.
Look, I actually felt a bit sorry for Wills because I thought he was doing everything right. He was getting his feet around, he was getting into position. There's no doubt whatsoever about his effort. He just didn't have the hops to get up there. And unfortunately, whenever you're playing against someone like Solomon, you need someone who has both, who has the footwork and the hops to get up there. Otherwise, just not going to be able to contend. And it was just such an easy pass in there for the Aussie. I don't think Billings shot a goal for that whole quarter. So, but why would she need to? And Solomon's such a nice target in there. And particularly McDonald, I thought, was releasing the ball to him much nicer and has gotten it that way as the game goes on. So I don't know about some of the other changes down there for the Kiwis, but definitely that goalkeeper position I'll be looking to switch around.
Yeah, I think they lost a little bit of flow through the mid-court. They only put up 8 goals to Australia's 15 after 13 in the first, and their accuracy dropped to 67% in the quarter after 93 in the first. So I don't think the changes gave them any advantage at all. Probably a couple of changes too many. So I'm keen to see what they do now at this main break in order to try and get back into the match. It's not beyond their reach at all. It looks like, Odell may line up at goalkeeper and Brown at goal defence. So we'll see how that happens. Perhaps the thought is that they're missing something in transition through court and Brown will be able to provide that for them.
Well, and Billings has been doing a wealth of work on the centre pass, and second face. So maybe, I mean, I know that, you know, when you speak to teams who are playing against a really tall goal shooter, you talk about the intercept coming further up the court, and maybe what they're trying to do is force that ball a little bit longer and, you know, force the Aussies into a bit of an error, but it's a bit of a gamble.
Look, it is, but in these types of situations where you haven't got a lot of intel on your opposition, you've only got 3 tests to sort of figure it out. So you've got to be pretty astute in figuring that out pretty quickly.
Look, and 11 goals down at half-time, you have to try something.
And I look at a half-time score in this way. You're down by 11 in half a game. You've got half a game to get back that 11 goals. It's about converting 1 turnover at a time. And we've got some stats from the second term. Aussies converted 6 of 12 Kiwi turnovers at 50%, and New Zealand 4 from 9 in that second quarter. So not too shabby, but I'm sure both sides would, like to give away fewer turnovers and increase their conversion.
Great pass then from Blanchard, just really forced the ball through the gap. I think sometimes they were putting it up a little bit too high and allowing Hamer to come through. Great work there from Blanchard.
And no changes for the Aussies, but Wills has gone to wing defence also for the Kiwis. And Yosefa Harris still at
great work
centre.
from Hamer coming through.
Yeah. So they've taken Lord off. Strong take from Solomon. Will he turn and shoot? He will. Yosefa Harris, Narupu looked down the line, but Bedingfield had it covered. Brown, Yosefa Harris just unsighted there. Turned her back to the ball. That is my number 1 pet hate in netball. Any player turning their back on the ball. I don't care if you're rolling off in the circle. It doesn't matter. You should always have vision of where the ball is or know where the ball is, and you don't as soon as you turn it back to the ball. A replay on McDonald.
Look, I would say I've got 2. Turn your back at the ball is 1. I hate it when the wing defence does not sit on the edge of the circle on the back line throw-in. It shits me to tears. It does my head in. Because I'm normally playing goalkeeper and my passing's not my strong point. So a nice easy release out, but...
Oh, next hip. Got around, just didn't get his hand there first. An obstruction on Skokulski.
Clever play there by Narupu. Oh, shoot that.
Yeah, I don't know. Narupu just gives a little bit of a look to Taylor Blanchard to say, thank you very much for the ball at my shin. Next hip.
She's got great hands, Narupu, though, doesn't she? She's able to
just phenomenal.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Some of the balls that they've passed into her, I thought that would fly through anybody else's fingers.
Solomon's taken so many strong takes and hasn't looked perturbed at all. Brown. Blanchard. They're having to go back now, the Kiwis, and forward. Yosefa Harris, Overton out. Nice front cut from Overton. Oh, next hip. Late contact call on next hip outside the circle. Nobu loves to let the ball roll into her. And 3-2 the quarter break to the Kiwis. Margin at 10. Nearly 4 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Oh.
Solomon with the front space that time.
I'm actually quite liking, like, the Kiwi defenders, they're swapping as soon as it comes into the third, but Odell's got really great timing and she's coming out to have a crack at Billings. So I actually think eventually they'll get a turnover from it, but whether it's enough to peg back this lead, I don't know.
Overton. Oh,
Throw in, foot was out of court.
yeah. He was up, though.
Definitely one of the better aerial contests I've seen from him tonight.
So Hamer with the throw-in, betting field. Kiwis again with the press, but the Aussies haven't set it up the way they have so far in the game, but they still got through it okay. Australia with the throw-in. Billings, it's her first shot in a long while. She's 4 from 4 though for the game. 5 gone in the third, Australia by 12.
Next, finding a field of space there in the second phase.
And now out to 13. Blanchard.
Coming forward.
Yeah, just
Oh,
that's what the setup was for. Naupu.
Kiwis are just kind of hanging in there, aren't they? Oh,
Wills, no backup that time. Yeah, I just wonder where their turnovers are going to come from through the Australian attack end, because they haven't given away too much ball in the goal circle. A couple of players still on the Aussie bench who we could see, David Butler and Laura Jenner.
is that another warning?
Yeah, I think it was a caution. I didn't see the signal from the umpire. Maybe it was just a chat, but
Right. Bit of a heads up.
contact on Upi that time. Betting field. Wills is trying to cover the high ball into Solomon, but the vision from the Aussies is good. 7-4 the quarter break.
I think the temptation too, when you have a goal shooter like Solomon as a mid-quarter, is to pressure the pass going in, when really what they need to do is pressure their own player to get the intercept before that. Wills is pretty athletic, and I quite liked what I saw from him in goalkeeper, but he's just not contesting enough on the direct ball to his opposition.
Hamer looking a little dejected at the penalties that are being called on him. Next hip has to go back, mops up. Oh, that was a great attempt from Brown.
And frustratingly, probably from him, that's probably the best attempt that the closest he's had.
Tenacious was Yosefa Harris on circle edge. Came up with the ball.
Turned it back to the ball again, though.
You saw me cringe.
I did see you cringe.
I just think it leaves you with an option short. It doesn't matter for how long your back is turned. And
Yep.
Overton too much on the pass to Blanchard. Oh, a penalty called in the circle on Hamer again. Liverpool 5 from 6 in this quarter. So Aussies not extending the lead just yet. It's still as it was at half time. And we've about 6.5 to go in the third quarter. High ball from Blanchard.
Oh.
Good tip from Overton. Next hip. Almost through the hands of Bedingfield. Billings.
That's really been Hamer's strength tonight, those area balls, because I don't think any of them have come away tonight keeps his feet moving, keeps his player moving, more importantly, and gets himself into such a great position. Oh,
Next hip is to go back. McDonald. Good drive from Billings. Just cut in front of everyone in the circle. This is her second in a row.
fumble from Odell on the rebound there.
Billings punishes Nopu. Overton was well out, but had the speed, had the smarts, and finished it well.
He's brilliant on the move down there in goal shooter for Overton, and kind of wish I saw a bit more of that. Rather when he posts up, you know, drive out of the circle, create the space for Nopu behind you, start the rotation happening.
Yeah, I think they've definitely got the capacity to mix it up a little bit, and I think that was almost on then to that pass into Overton.
But that's what a great job Hamer's doing down there. Makes him second guess it every time.
And look, this is an important turnover for the Kiwis. Nopu from downtown.
Such a sweet shot.
And a chance for 3 in a row for the Kiwis.
Blanchard.
Oh, next hit. Good read. Great triangle from the Kiwis. It's not often that you see it that uncontested from Australia. Wonder how.
Well, a smart play from Nopu too. She just excuse me, completely stayed out of the play then. Gave him plenty of space to move.
Yeah, I just wonder what's going through Australian coach Chrissy Lee, his mind at the moment. Wonder whether she'll make some changes or make this 7 run it out and win back the ball that they've seemingly given away over the past couple of minutes.
Nice little bit of acting from Nopu to get that penalty.
When are the Oscars coming up?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Even in defence, you've got to do it as well.
So the Kiwis have brought the margin back to 9. Nopu, she looked long early.
Oh. Not sure about that one.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the angle that Hamer's holding, and Overton's clearly showing the umpire that something's happening there. But this has been an impressive quarter from the Kiwis. 12 goals in this term to 10 from 9 from the Aussies. Now it's 10, and the margin's under 10. So there's still plenty of time left in this term to take another couple of goals off the margin. 3 remaining in the third quarter.
Much better option there from Nopu. They're the ones that were bombing long previously and getting turned over.
Josefa Harris.
Much
Strong ball to the right side of Overton.
Oh.
But he's 3 from 6 this quarter, and he was 3 from 5 in the second quarter after a strong start in the first term where he didn't miss at 7 straight. So Kiwis being a little bit wasteful under goal. Margin of 10 is restored for the Aussies. Good
Lovely
dodge, yeah, from next hip. Straight down the line. Made it easy for McDonald to connect. That's Solomon's 10th goal for the term.
And it's that second phase that the Kiwis are missing.
If it's not on long, they're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Skokowski off the centre pass. The Aussies holding it up a little now. McDonald presents.
Solomon's mixed it up a little bit this quarter. I feel like he's posting up, waiting for the right time, and then he just slightly changes his angle. It's leaving him with lots of space to work with. Has surprisingly good timing for a big man.
Blanchard looking for someone. Naupu obliges. Good jump from Skukulski.
Yeah, that one was definitely there. Just getting called a little bit flat-footed and reaching rather than moving his feet to his player.
Less than a minute to go in this third quarter. I think the Kiwis are going to be really happy with how they've managed to claw their way back a couple of goals in this term. Don't know if that was audible to the live streaming audience. But Solomon said, "Oh dear," on that missed attempt. And that is three-quarter time, so an even term for Australia and New Zealand in the mixed open division. Australia still with an 11-goal lead at three-quarter time, 46-35 here at the Trans-Tasman Cup in Adelaide. So three-quarter time, the Aussies with an 11-goal lead. I can't see too much movement in the Aussie lineup from the bench. You never know until they're going to get out on court, though. A couple of changes, though, for the Kiwis. So Overton at goal shooter, Naupu at goal attack, Lord at wing attack, Yusufa Harris at centre, Bonsumaru at wing defence, Odell still at goal defence, or she's moved forward actually because Brown is back at goalkeeper, and it's probably a good move considering that Michael Solomon is 41 from 45 across the first three quarters. It's insane stats for the Aussie goal shooter.
Well, and Brown's been the only one who's really looked like contesting him. He's having a great game out there, Hamer. I know they're playing to his strengths, but he's contesting everything. He's taking now running intercepts. He's getting into the air.
So the Kiwis just 7 fewer attempts, but they're shooting at 78% to 92 from Australia. So that's also hurting them a little bit. Good touch from Brown. Tomorrow night we have the 23s division followed by the Open Men's. Join us from 6:15 Australian Central Daylight Savings Time. So the Aussies first to score in the last quarter. Good touch from Naupu. Just offside. Good touch from Zigament actually has moved from wing defence to goal defence, and Odell has come off. So a fair bit of rotation in the Kiwis tonight, still trying to search for that winning combination. I think that one that was on in the third quarter did pretty well.
Yeah.
To even the quarter at 14 all. Had one more attempt.
Yeah, the shuffling with the mid-court, I don't quite understand. I'd almost rather let them sit for a second just to... Oh, great chase up there, just to settle a little bit. They seem to... Oh, lovely.
Good touch from Skikolski. Sends the Aussies into attack. Bedingfield. McDonald. Over the top from Nexip. That was a clever pass. Solomon, fresh airy on that occasion. We'll not want that in the highlights package for this game. He's only missed what? That's only his 5th miss for the game.
Yeah, Yusefa Harris is getting a little bit caught up in the play coming out of defence. It's actually pulling their timing off of everyone else. Lord, oh! I don't know how she pulled that in.
Because she's Juliana Naupu. What a silly question. Aussies with 33 penalties in that third term. Kiwis with 21. So the Aussies will be looking to reduce that stay in play much more in this last quarter. Try and remove the influence of the umpires. Solomon missing 2 in a row.
Takes a deep breath.
Make it 3. And the Kiwis come up with it through Bonsu Maru, Zigamont, Overton. Lord opened up nicely for Naupu. And the Kiwis with a centre pass, an opportunity to bring it back to 10. 11 minutes 30 to go in the last term. Oh, Hamer, good reflexes.
Better hold them from Overton rather than for the back space, almost to the side space. Took Hamer completely out of it.
So the margin now back to 10. And the Aussies stuck on the centre pass. Oh, Solomon was open there for a second. Billings. Short.
Oh, unlucky.
Offside from Bonsumaro. Oh, good swing. Good triangle from the Aussies then.
Solomon's got a little bit off his radar. Little pop to get him back on.
Yeah, he'd missed 3 in a row before that. Michael Solomon, uncharacteristically. Lord, strong ball to Overton and to the top of the circle.
Beautiful from Lord.
Yeah, great set play from the Aussies. An attempt at the Harrison hoist by the Aussies. Didn't come off that time. It was a quick shot from Naupu on that occasion. Bedingfield, McDonald. McDonald, circle edge. It's where you want your mid-quarters to be when they're feeding into the circle. He's a little shaky this last quarter, Michael Solomon, but he's still the focal point for the Aussies as they hit 50. 9.5 minutes to go in the second test. If the Aussies shore this up, they will regain.
Oh.
Great read of the ball from Skikolski. Billings looks straight in to Solomon.
the second time Sikorsky's been involved in a pick-off like that. I think when Naupu is sitting wide, she's probably not sitting wide enough, but two, she's not actually doing anything to keep Sikorsky at least half interested. She's kind of just hanging out there. So rather than maybe even faking an attempt to drive forward and keep her defender busy.
Oh, Solomon, his confidence is back. He's liking them from distance. So as I was saying before, if Australia manage to win this game, they will regain the Trans-Tasman Cup in the mixed open division, having lost it 4 years ago in Sydney. It was a 2-1 series win to the Kiwis, and every game was decided by a goal. McDonald, Billings. Good attempt by Brown.
Yeah.
Overton out of the circle on the first play, taken the pass. Quick play of the penalty.
Lord's been so good for them in that wing attack position. Ball of Moon, and even just a give and go, that's probably been lacking across the board from the Kiwis. It's just that give and then a really hard front cut and drive. Offensive contact there.
Yeah,
I
on
think
McDonald.
don't think she liked it too much.
Yeah,
But
and before the centre pass as well. So the Kiwis, the margin's still 12. It's that second quarter that they lost 15-7, 15-8, sorry, that has really done the damage for them. They've been hovered around the 80% mark all game as well. But they probably needed to lift that to be in the contest further. But Naupu, Kiwis are 8 straight in this final term.
oh, and I'm in the game.
Put that down on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
Possession.
one touch.
F. Crow. Oh, Brown. He was there. Solomon, that's his 8th for the quarter. 8 from 12. Lord straight into the circle on that occasion. Better body positioning from Hamer not to give away the penalty also.
That was a bit of a soft contact.
So I think what the Kiwis are going to get out of this is knowing which changes they could make. I think they also know which changes not to make.
Yeah.
I think they've put in a far stronger performance across the board, and they'll be able to take away some knowledge of what does work for them against this lineup in particular from Australia.
Look, I really like the attacking lineup at the moment from the Kiwis. Big attack, goal, shooter. At times, it just looks really pretty. I think they're probably just lacking a little bit of understanding that comes from playing with each other, and we've seen that get better and better as the game goes on. So it'll be interesting to see who they roll out with in the next game. But it'd be great to actually see this lineup have another crack again, because there's been enough from them that I kind of go, right, this is a lineup that can work. That probably wasn't the best example of their play there. But they're probably just also lacking a little bit of firepower defensively in that centre position. You know, I feel Bonsu Maro's had a go in there, Yosefa Harris, Greg Lord, but they're probably all attacking centres rather than defensive. And when you've got someone like Nexhip who can just drive so hard through that centre position, he's just finding it way too easy.
Under 5 to go in the game now. Probably safe to say that the Aussies have got this locked down, leading by 14. Oh, good read from Sigmund. A little unlucky, I think. Aussie bench is up and warming. Wonder if we'll see any changes in the final few minutes. Billings passes off. Solomon under the post. How many times have we seen that tonight?
Oh, lovely. From next step into the pocket.
If you had to pick a player of the match, pressure's on. You're
Oh.
live.
I actually really like what Heyman's done tonight. I think the Kiwis have really struggled not having that target goal shooter option. I think he's contested really well. He's got picked up for a few contacts, but I think they've probably been worthy contacts that you kind of go, right,
He's been in the game.
I'll
Yep.
cop that. But I really don't think you can go past Solomon. He's just been completely unstoppable under there. That's a better pass in.
He's certainly got a 50-goal haul tonight. He's been a little shaky in this last quarter. Oh, next hip. Good backup from Billings. I think next hip's probably my MVP. He's just been such a great connection through the middle of the court.
He's been so consistent, hasn't he? I think a lot of the other players on both teams have had their ups and downs and quiet moments and loud moments, but he just seems to consistently be in the play.
Touch from McDonald, sorry there. And he's had 11 opponents as well, so you know, I think he's done really well with all the changes as well. That was the wrong line to the ball from Kaylee Zingerment. Got called for the penalty. Next hip. McDonald. Yosefa Harris. Things are getting a little bit lazy in the final 2.5 minutes. Oh, good quick release.
Lovely placement too out into the space. Doesn't need to go over his head all the time. I think that's where the Kiwis have gotten into a bit of trouble, is constantly doing, you know, a really standard tee hold. Whereas Solomon's working the sides, he's getting space rather than just the back.
And to think that for the first 3 quarters, the Kiwis looked far. Oh, good read from Bedingfield. It was a telegraphed pass. Solomon, offline there, but McDonald backs up. Billings. I don't think the Kiwis are going to be too happy with the way they've faded out in this last quarter. 15-9.
Well, particularly at one point, they were really looking like they were probably going to lose, but it was going to be single figures. And the fact it's almost blowing out to 20 is probably a bit of a concern.
I certainly think they've played better for the most part, you know, compared to the first test. But they a sandwich call there from the umpire. Yosefa Harris and Bonsu Maro. Oh, strong ball from Billings.
I love a good bounce pass. I cannot bounce pass to save my life.
We'll get you to demonstrate at halftime
No.
on Saturday. Yeah. So under a minute to go in the second test. Australia will take the Trans-Tasman Cup in the Mixed Open Division. It's just by a matter of how much in this second test. Overton. With his 4th goal for the quarter. He's probably been a little bit quiet in this second half.
What?
So the umpire blew time then to retrieve the ball, but it was retrieved very quickly. So I think it just caught the players unaware as if there was a penalty to be called. Another beautiful bounce pass from Nat Billings.
Got bounce pass envy.
And finishes with the goal. And that is time here. 63-46. Australia win the Mixed Open Division on day 3 of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Cup here in Adelaide. Thank you very much, Fiona Crowe, for your attendance here this evening.
My pleasure.
We'll see you again on Saturday for the mixed match at 4 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us here on night 3. 2 great matches if you're an Australian, 2 wins to the Aussies, 41-39 in the 20s and 63-46 in the mixed open division. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night from 6:15 on behalf of the entire crew here and Mnet TV. I'm Michael Hutchinson, and we'll see you very soon.